All right, Hunter. So you've been working on music ever since you were young. What inspired you to start playing music?
I don't know. I think as far as inspiration, music's kind of all I've ever sort of gravitated towards. It's kind of like waking up in the morning and breathing. You know, it's like I think music was the only way, and I didn't know this, but I've come to find out that music's kind of my only way of communicating. It says a lot of things that I can't say, and that's how I say everything I need to say. And music's kind of been a force, just a moving thing in my life, just this spirit kind of moving through my life. And so I guess I just gravitated towards it because it was so powerful. It kind of called me, you know what I mean?
That's great. Do you have a favorite childhood memory? I know I know you've been performing a lot ever since you were little, but just any childhood memory involving music. It doesn't have to be with a celebrity or anything.
Tons. I mean, favorite. I'm not good with favorites because they change like every day. You know what I mean? Favorite.
You just performed with Keith Urban recently, right?
Yeah. If I can still be called a child now.
No, I don't think you can.
Okay, I can't go over that. Oh, you know what? I got to meet actually Brad Paisley. He was on air on the radio when I was a kid. I say kid. I was probably 9 or 10. And he had just come out and he was on the radio, and Mom and I were big fans. And so we were driving home from school. We heard him on the radio and we knew the DJ. So we were like, let's just go over to the station and just like slide in and and like see if the DJ can like introduce us. We were like, it's probably recorded already. But anyway, we went and he introduced us to Brad, and Brad was like so nice. He like shared the interview with me and whatever not, because like the DJ knew us, and so he played a couple of my tunes, and then he invited me out to play with him that night at a place called the Stockyard Saloon in Lafayette, Louisiana, and it was really cool. Got to play with him, and he's pretty much remembered me ever since, which was really neat.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So you had a total fan moment.
Oh yeah, I went from fan to like, hey buddy, it was like the next year were the Flameworthy Awards, and I attended those in Nashville during the Fanfare week, right? And I was at Fanfare, and I yelled out to him, and I was like, hey, Brad, not expecting him to even turn around or even hear or acknowledge, and he was like, hey Hunter, how's it going? And I was like, my goodness.
That's really exciting.
Yeah. So it was really cool.
That's awesome.
That's a pretty big one.
That's a good special memory. Mm-hmm. What inspired your new single, Storm Warning?
A girl. A mean girl. I'm just kidding. I think, it was funny because, I'm from Louisiana, right? And then I'm riding with this guy, these two other dudes. The one from Nova Scotia, Canada walks in with the idea of Storm Warning.
Really?
And I'm like, that's funny. That caught my ear. Anything that's storm, I'm used to hearing that from Louisiana.
Yeah, hurricanes.
But the funniest thing, funniest thing, for whatever reason, I took it from this is a weather song to this is a love song, or lack thereof. And we basically, I kind of related it to this girl I wanted to hang out, spend time with, get to know. But there were red flags everywhere telling me this was not a good idea, and that was my warning, and I did not heed the warning. And that's kind of where we came from on the song. We just kind of poured out onto the paper or onto the laptop that we write on.
That's
just kind
great.
of poured out over a couple of hours, and it ended up being a first single.
Oh, nice. So can you talk a little bit? You've played 30 instruments. I didn't even know 30 instruments existed.
I didn't either.
On your album.
Well, here's what it is. Like, Dan, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
I just
go.
cut you off. I'm such a jerk.
Just speak.
Good
go.
grief. Slap
You're
me,
already
just
a
walk
diva.
out the door.
No, I'm just
I know, right? This is bad. I started. Dan has Dan Huff, who I got to co-produce a record with. I'm still feeling really bad about that. Dan brought in he's got 4 different styles of mandolins. He's got the normal mandolin, he's got a 6-string mandolin, it's tuned all weird. Then he had this longer mandolin, which was tuned deeper and had a different tuning. And then there was another one. It's things like that. You've got a mandolin. Well, all of a sudden there's 4. You got an acoustic. Well, you got the high string, you got the 12 string, you got the different tunings that we did and the different sort of size guitars that we used.
Did you have to learn how to play them differently, or was it kind of instinctive since you know the basic instrument?
It was a bit of an adaptation, yeah. I mean, I was used to acoustic stuff, and I was used to the mandolin, but when we got the mini mando, which is the 6-string, it was like playing a guitar. And so I had to switch from thinking rhythm, thinking bluegrass, but playing like I'm playing an acoustic or an electric. It was really, it was kind of, it was kind of a trippy learning process, but that's how we got to the 30, things. We had all kinds of stuff just scattered everywhere in the studio.
That's great. When did you start learning how to play all these instruments? I know you learned to play the accordion when you were very little.
Right. There was accordion, there was drums, and then there was guitar. And then it just kind of became, after guitar, it was, I started kind of figuring out that the only way anybody was ever going to hear any of the music I'd written was if I sort of made my own demos. And so kind of put two and two together, and I was a gearhead, so I asked for this, for Christmas, I asked for a 8-track Tascam recorder. And I did not come out of my room for like 2 years after that.
How old were you?
I was like, I think it was in 7th grade.
Wow.
So I don't remember my age, but I was in 7th grade. and I just kind of started making recordings on my own. That was my that was the only way I could sort of finish the songs, and I had to finish them. I had to see them done, And so it went from write the song, record the song, and then I started learning instruments for the sake of the demos, and so it kind of went in a circle,
So you just kind of went around.
Continued circling until I would finish a demo. And sometimes, like I've learned things just for like, there's a song on the album called "Everybody's Got Somebody But Me."
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, well, I learned steel just to play on that song. And in fact, on the record, you'll hear the very first night I ever sat in front of a steel. We used the parts that I did on the demo. I literally said, I was in the studio just by myself, and I was like, I want to learn. And I had a buddy. I was at my buddy's studio, and he had a steel, and so he let me borrow it. And you'll hear stuff on the album from the first night I ever touched a steel guitar and played it.
That's great. So each song for you has a story. Obviously, that's how country music is.
Yeah.
Is there any story in particular that's very touching to you on your album?
Wanted is pretty strong. I mean, I'm a dude, so it's like I come from it from a totally different aspect. Like I wrote this for a girl that I wanted to say, look, I don't just like need to be with someone like you. Like I just want to hang out with you. Of course, she doesn't know that I wrote it about her, and she'll never know. But
oh no.
But wanted kind of means a lot to me because I feel like we all want to. I mean, we all want to feel that thing where somebody just wants to be with us. Somebody just likes our company for whatever reason. You know what I mean? And that's really close to me. There's a couple of songs. I mean, the album is full of songs that, I mean, I wrote for 3 years straight, like every day. And so the album basically was handpicked by me and my team and I, but mostly me, out of songs that meant a lot to me, A tune called Faith. There's a tune called Faith on there that's all about just losing everything and realizing, hey, I haven't lost anything, I've still got faith, And songs like Cry With You, Rainy Season. Rainy Season is a big one for me because it's all about someone leaving and begging them not to, But, yeah, so...
That's great. Well, so you're about to go on tour with Taylor Swift, July 28th, I think, to August 14th.
Yeah.
And she writes a lot of personal songs as well.
Yeah.
Have you guys spoken about possibly writing a song together?
Oh gosh, that would be my dream. I'm a huge fan, obviously. I mean,
when did you meet her for the first time?
I met her for the first time at the BMI Awards in Nashville last year.
Oh, okay, nice.
And it was shortly thereafter I had figured out a way to get an iPod Nano, loaded it with a bunch of my demos, a bunch of live video, and a message from me saying, "Hey Taylor, nice to meet you," that kind of thing,
Yeah.
And it was shortly thereafter, and I figured out a way to get it to her. Never expected her to listen to it, but I said, "What the heck, Maybe
That's
she'll
really
listen
great
to it."
that she listened to it.
She listened to it because she introduced herself to me. She was like, "I love your music," and she was like so complimentary, and I was just like, it was the first time probably the first time I have ever been speechless, like completely speechless, and I was just like, I'm a huge fan, thank you, and then we got the call a couple months later to go out on tour with her.
That's great.
So, I mean, yes, do I dream of writing a tune with one of my favorite writers? Yeah, absolutely. Don't expect that, but it would be cool,
yes,
because I'm a fan.
And what songs are you going to be performing? All of your songs on stage? Do you know have you worked out your set list? Everything.
We're
going to
do 4 songs, and for the sake of suspense, I'm not telling anybody anything.
All right, great.
No, but do go to the website because that'll give you a good hint of what we're playing.
Great. And you're excited to be working with her, and
oh, absolutely, yeah.
I know she's very sweet to all of her fans, so it's a nice story to hear that she.
The whole team
reached out
the whole
to you.
team. It's all about the fans. It's all about the people who have, yeah, for sure. She's so nice. She was so nice to us. I mean, I did not expect the amount of just gratitude that she and her team had. It was really cool.
That's great. And what's it like working with somebody? Are you excited about working with somebody that's close to your age? Because you've worked with a lot of people that are older. You've worked with Rascal Flatts.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's one of the reasons I'm a big fan of hers is because she's my age, someone my age who I feel like would never speak for her by any means, but I feel like what I relate to is that there's a person who lived for music, very similar to the way I did, and and wanted to do that and did it, and did whatever it took to do it and live the dream, And like I said, I don't know the story, but that's what I relate to. There is someone my age who has done it and who is living the dream, and I'm hoping that I can sit across the table and take some notes. Like, how'd you do this? That kind of thing.
That's great.
For sure.
And then just last question: who is your dream person to work with? We can take Taylor Swift out of it because you're about to live that dream. Who would you like to collaborate with? Is there any female singer that you would like to do sort of a Lady Antebellum kind of duet?
That's interesting. I never thought about that. Never even thought about that. That's so interesting. Gosh, there's a ton. There's really a ton.
It doesn't even have to be female. It could be just...
Yeah, well, like, I got to stand on stage the other night. I'm still not believing this happened, but a couple nights ago, I got to stand on stage with Keith Urban. I got to hang out with him. First of all, he invited me to sound check. We got to hang out. We chatted about everything. Cars. We talked about cars. I was like, freaking cool. But we talked about, music, guitars, amps, everything. And then he was like, hey, you know a song called Better Life? And I was like, do I know it, And he was like, well, do you want to come up and play it? And I was like, yeah, I'd like to,
That's
And
great.
so I did. And I'd love to get to work with him, do something just, off the wall, different, or whatever, just do a track with him one day. Stevie Wonder would be a really cool thing, just because he played a lot of his own instruments on his on his albums and stuff. That would be cool.
That's great.
Those are two that come to mind immediately. Get back to me in a week, and I'll have a whole nother list.
All right. Is there anything that you want your fans to know? Any message you want to send out to them? Anything they don't know about you yet that you would like them to know?
Anything that they don't know about me, they probably shouldn't know. I'm just kidding. I don't know. One thing I've learned by living this dream, by doing this music thing, is that you can dream. You can dream as big as you want, and there is absolutely a big chance. Not even a chance. It's dream as big as you want, because they come true every day.
All right.